these guys that they acquired, Matson and Doolittle, will help. I mean, they've both been closers before. They're both vets. They both have pitched in big games.
They haven't closed a lot, though.
No, they haven't.
Right? Like,
so
Doolittle, I think, closed 1 year, made the All-Star team that year, right, in 2014, just from looking at his stats.
Yep.
Matson, it looks like, has done it maybe twice. He's had over 30 saves.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't realize this. Matson was out of the big leagues for 3 years, coming back from Tommy John.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty great comeback story if you think about it. He was out 2012, 2013, 2014, and didn't come back until 2015. Missed 3 seasons and was still able to come back.
Got a sick change.
But these guys are vets, been around forever. Matson, 12 years, 3.40 ERA. This year, he's actually pitching better than what he's pitched.
They're big strikeout to walk guys. They don't walk that many guys. Doolittle apparently is just
deadly
against
lefties.
lefties. They're 0 for 23 against him so far this year, which is just awesome.
I mean, they're going to help, but I would think that Rizzo goes out and gets a closer so these two guys can set up whoever they bring.
He might not be done yet. He might not be done.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like they gave up that much. Like Trinan, you hate to give up the arm, but wasn't working. See ya, wouldn't want to be ya. And then the 2 young guys, who knows? Maybe they'll be stars, whatever. They just drafted them last year.
This year.
You're trying to get it done. And they have control over these guys for the next, 2+ years or so. So it's not like a Melanson situation where they're here for 3 months and then you're done.
Speaking of Tommy Johns, though, they do lose Joe Ross to the Tommy John surgery.
I don't know what they're going to do about that spot. I mean, is it going to be Jacob Turner? I mean, who's it going to be?
Well, it's going to be Edwin Jackson on Tuesday.
They did call up Edwin Jackson.
He's going to.
I couldn't believe he's back. He's back in the mix with the Nats.
I'm not sure that'll be a long-term solution.
Oh, I'm sure it's a stopgap.
Yeah, but you'd love to have Edwin Jackson's.
Well, see, that's what we talked about last
bank
week.
account.
Oh, of course.
We talked about you don't need a 5th starter for the playoffs, but you need one to finish out the year.
Yeah, I mean, they still got, 70 games left or however many they got?
Yeah,
they got a bunch of games.
You need a 5th starter to give you innings, unless you want to tax your bullpen.
Hey, my outside the box is go after Justin Verlander since he's on the market.
Problem with Verlander is he's due so much money, they're not going to pay him. He's still owed like $60 million. There's no chance they'll pay him that.
Well,
but they do need to shore up that 5th starter spot. And then, again, I think that they probably aren't done. They're probably still looking for a closer, so those 2 guys can set up the closer. Then you got a whole new bullpen.
It's not that important because in the playoffs, you're going to go with, at best, a 4-man rotation.
No, I said you don't need him for the playoffs. You need him to finish out the other 75 games.
Right, so you just need an innings gobbler. That's all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So to me, you throw out anybody. You can throw out Jacob Turner, throw out Edwin Jackson. It just doesn't matter. You have such a big lead.
You don't want to lose every 5th game.
You can't just throw a guy out there.
I get it.
Because their
but you're not going to lose
will
your
get
lead.
overworked.
And you're also not going to catch the Dodgers. Pretty much we know where they're going to finish.
They're going to finish with the 2nd seed, yeah.
Right.
The Dodgers are blazing hot. But I think that they will, I mean, unless Edwin Jackson can, somehow give you 15 starts, which I doubt.
Well, I don't think Mike Rizzo's counting on that.
I'll be if Edwin Jackson makes 15 starts, I'll be stunned.
Yeah, I don't think he will.
Because I think he's pooped.
They got to figure out something there in that 5th spot.
Yeah.
Well, does this encourage you as a Nats fan that they're closer to being a true World Series contender?
They're closer.
Because
they're better now than they were.
People would say before with the bullpen, everybody's just said, look, come the playoffs, they just don't have a good enough bullpen. They're going to be bounced out. Do you think they're a World Series contender now?
I know they might not be quite there yet, but they're better than they were, on Saturday. They're better than they were basically to start the season.
Look, they're the 2nd best team in the league.
And they still have their top prospects. So that if they need to go out and get a closer, I'm telling you, I haven't paid attention. Has Zach Britton gotten any run with the Orioles since he's been back? They usually get blown out by so much that they're not going with the closer. I didn't pay attention to what happened this weekend.
Well, they lost all 3 games. They got swept by the Cubs, and they got
pummeled.
Wouldn't he cost you a fortune, though, in studs if you tried to acquire him?
Well, he's coming off an injury.
Well,
I still think he'd be
how
costly.
How many years do you have left on his deal, Valdez? 1?
I believe 1.
He's a free agent after next year.
I feel like he would be costly.
Because Jones, and Machado, I believe, are all free agents the same year.
Because when that guy's clicking, he's unhittable.
Right. Well, I'm just saying that's a team who I believe should be in the market in terms of selling. The Orioles should be selling right now. And the Nationals are buying, so I would take a look-see at that one.
Yeah, I'd take a look. See what they want.
See, but then you run into...
But supposedly Angelos doesn't like to deal with the Nats, and that's what's going to
give Lerner his lever.
Probably not going to happen.
So bizarre. But I was encouraged. And, it's so great because we said Rizzo, after the All-Star break, that's when things heat up. That's when things will happen. Yeah. Everyone wondered, what are they waiting for? What are they waiting for? Well, we'll see how it works out. But I think it works so far on paper. Looks like a great move. What were they at the time of the move? Were they 9.5 games up? Whatever it was. So the waiting didn't hurt them. They're fine.
By the way, it wasn't just people like us who were doing radio or listeners who were calling in. It was players themselves saying, what are they waiting for?
Right, well, players are stupid.
Dusty, too.
Yeah.
Right. Dusty's been on record saying they need help in the bullpen.
Well, everyone knew they needed help, but it was like when. But Rizzo just waited, and he had the luxury of waiting because they were up so much.
Well, Rizzo probably talked to 15 different teams, too. Yeah. This was the best deal for this team now.